about the situation in Kano State, the political situation, where this morning we have Mr. Muhuyi Magaji. He's the executive chair of the Kano State Public Complaints and Anti-Corruption Commission. He joins us from our Abuja studio. A fine morning to you, sir.
Good morning, and thank you for having me.
Indeed, our pleasure. Okay, we just wanted to look at this alleged corruption, allegations in the Kano executive, particularly the, governor. The executive would want to take the former governor to court, arraign him, and that has been scheduled for the 17th. So I wanted to find out from you, how actually doable is that? Because we've been hearing quite a number of perspectives on as to whether or not the governor or the government does have the right, the locus, to do that which they purport to want to do. Can they? For instance, it is said to be out of the realm of authority of the Attorney General of the state. The EFCC ought to be brought on as well. And maybe you can shed light on all of that. If anything like this is going to go on, I imagine there will be some sort of setting aside of certain provisions so that we can proceed. But you're one of the best people we can have to shed light on this particular situation. Please do so, sir.
Okay. Good morning once again, and thank you for having me. As you rightly said, I used to be the executive chairman of Kano State Public Complaints and Anti-Corruption Commission. And it may interest you to know that I was appointed by the same person in question, that is the former governor of Kano State, His Excellency Abdullahi Umar Ganduje, in 2015. I was reappointed in 2020. At the same time, we have undertook series of investigation activities and perhaps prosecution under his watch as the executive governor of Kano State. And in so many times, he praises the commission to be neutral, unbiased arbiter, or rather unbiased agency of the government that is going after those that are finding wanting. So the question that you asked me, whether or not the Attorney General of the state has the power to initiate prosecution in Kano State or in a matter that affects the activities of Kano State government, that is a settled constitutional provision. If you look at Section 211 of the Constitution, the Attorney General has, the Attorney General's power to prosecute any person under the laws of Kano State is sacrosanct. And if you look at the charge sheet, I don't know whether you are privileged to look at the charge sheet, which I am privileged to file myself, is that we have 8 count charges, and all these count charges are all these 8 count charges bordered on state offenses. Like, for instance, the issue of allegation whereby 501 plots were taken away from the government, given to a third party with a view, dishonestly, with a view to enrich self, where 700 million was traced back to a family, one of the members of the family of the former governor. That is a clear case of corruption in the state, whereby the state laws has made adequate provision and the state has unfettered powers to prosecute. Then secondly, like the issue of the sales of government property to self. You sell under your hand the government property at a very ridiculous price. Now, you sold it to a company whereby your members of your family are the owners of the company, and even at the federal level, that is why when we are talking of beneficial ownership, you see, it's all issues of corrupt practices whereby the state has powers, adequate powers. And even the case they are making reference to, it may interest you to know that when the former governor was now asking the EFCC, or rather admitting that it's the EFCC that have power to prosecute him, yes, we believe with that. We were sued by him in the Federal High Court, and the Federal High Court, after almost 6 to 7 months, when we were stopped to investigate any matter that affects the former governor and that of his family, and even those that he appointed, numbering in thousands. But at the end of the day, the court in its wisdom realized the fact that the commission had the powers to investigate and initiate all necessary legal processes under the laws of Kano State, or any infractions that were made to the good people of Kano State. Now, the court in its wisdom went ahead to declare that the issue of dollar video is rather a money laundering issue. So it's a federal offense. And I believe with the wisdom of the court, we cannot prosecute any money laundering issue, and we do not prosecute money laundering issue. But nowhere in that court judgment where it says that the state shall stop prosecuting any matter that it believes that it falls within the purview of the law that the state established, or rather that is created by the state assembly. So, and if you look at even the case of the EFCC, as I said, in 2022, because we started this investigation when he was the serving governor, we received a petition of almost all the cases and the intelligence that almost all the cases, and some of the cases, as somebody who was working under him then, I approached him with the issues, and I made it known to him that this is the position of him, and this is what is supposed to be done. And at the end of the day, it did not augur well for him. So that's a different issue entirely. But what I'm trying to tell you is that after in 2022, towards end of 2022, when it is so obvious that the former governor is leaving office, he used the state resources, 240 million. And the former commissioner of justice, then, in what we perceive to be rather not a business that affects government, and they sue the EFCC, preventing the EFCC from investigating this matter, or rather the matter in contention, the issue of dollar allegation, bribery allegation, video bribery allegation. And it was so clear, quoting a private case in which the former governor was involved, using state resources. Even this case is not going to be unpunished. What I'm trying to point out here is that we have so many evidences that we feel appropriate. Is our own, duty as an agency of government to take next step, and that is what we are doing now. We took next step we filed appropriate charge, we ignite the jurisdiction of the court, and if you ask me whether it is doable or not, it is doable, because if the former governor has any reservation on the fact that the commission did not have the powers to investigate this matter, or rather to prosecute this matter, because we have already finished investigating this one. This is a crystal clear case of issues with cogent evidences. So we approach the court. Then they know how to appropriately deal with the matter. It's not an issue that will come and discuss in a public gallery like this. It's an issue that will go there and trash it in the court. Because we have a robust court system whereby it allowed everybody to ventilate his own grievances. Like, for instance, now there's a presumption of innocence. Nobody will call the former governor, or rather will declare him to be guilty, unless is found guilty by the same court of competent jurisdiction, which is a court of record. So, as far as the state government is concerned, because the commission is under the state government, we are working for the state government, and we have established a strong prima facie evidence whereby there are inferences in the state laws, and we charge under the state laws, and we believe, based on what we have, based on the cogent evidence we have, we believe we have the balance of probabilities in our favor.
Thank you very much. I didn't want to interrupt so that you'd give us the whole perspective, because it is seen, it is known that this is really a matter of it is thought to be a continuation of the feud between the NNPP and the APC. As you recall, the former governor, now chairman of APC, has, actually advised earlier on that in any case, these are criminal matters that rightly ought to be in the purview of EFCC. By all means, go ahead. But even though you've put your light on it, the Attorney General of the state does not seem to have the powers, it is thought, to prosecute this matter. This is a federal matter. These are federal offenses, even though the governor has completely denied any involvement in any of them. Yet the matter continues. As you know, we don't want to go into other areas. It's gotten quite murky. There have even been suppositions of suspension of the former governor, now chairman of the party, from his ward, which has been roundly condemned by the hierarchy of APC itself. So, but it's the law. It's the law now that really is the concern of most people if we take these things stage by stage. Even the governor himself has said he's not against a probe, but let things be done rightly. How far back do you want to take the probe is another matter. After all, the current governor, when back in the day he was serving as Commissioner for Works, his official residence, for example, is said to be state property that has been converted. You were speaking about such conversions. So I don't know, as a lawyer yourself, do you think there is a danger of the law being brought to disrepute in this situation simply because there's been a predetermination to get someone, go for someone? But just before you answer, sir, I just heard that a caller came in. Let me just take that call so we don't keep him waiting for too long. Good morning, Mr. George.
Good morning, Uncle George. Uncle George, if I heard your guest well, he said it was Governor Ganduje that appointed him, and that during his tenure in office, he advised the governor then against some of those offenses that he was committing. That's my understanding. And thereafter, well, from what I can see in his own body language and the feelers coming from Kano State, he in particular is also part of those that are persecuting the former governor for personal reasons. I'm happy that he's here to clarify that. But the question I want to ask him is, people are saying that if the governor is interested in probing the past, why did he start from only 2015, the immediately past governor's tenure, when his own godfather, before Governor Ganduje, committed more errors than Ganduje, of which he was part of that government? Why is he not interested in that one? Why did he start demolishing the structures that Ganduje did right from day one? Nobody says that Ganduje is a saint. In any action a man takes, it is not the action that really matters, but what lies behind it. Why must you, at the expense of the state, be destroying what your predecessor built that is meant for the people, only because you do not like that the person of that predecessor? It's not about person here. It's about the state.
All right.
That's
okay.
What people are saying. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. George. Okay, Mr. Magaji, I combined those two. I had just finished. Well, you were about to answer, but then we took in the call. It's possible for you to also combine, sentiments from both.
Okay. Let me start with your question. I wonder when people are insisting whether or not the state has the powers to prosecute this type of offense. So I may return the question. If the state doesn't have the powers to prosecute or to investigate this type of offenses, like criminal breach of trust by servants, which is under the penal code, like conspiracy to commit crime, which is equally under the penal code, like making false statement or return, which is under the Kano State Public Complaints and Anti-Corruption Commission, like official corruption, which is under the Section 22 of the Kano State Public Complaints and Anti-Corruption Commission, then which offense did the Kano State possess the power to prosecute? This is another question to those that are challenging the state of its powers of investigation. And I will draw your attention of one particular case that was decided by the same court, that is the Federal High Court. It's a case of the Empire State, whereby it relates to the issue of state finances. It was held that it is the state agency that have the power to decide on its own state matters, on its own fund. So this, you are telling me that what happens to the point of Kano State, it is only the EFCC that will decide either to act or not to act, while the Kano State government doesn't have say. This is not obtainable in the federal system of government. With all due respect, as you said, I am a lawyer in my own rights, and I know this fact. I know that that is what we said. If the state government doesn't have the power, it's simple. It's very, very quite simple. The former governor will go to court, right? File his all necessary processes. Then the court will quash the charge. But if the state have the power, then it will go ahead. The court will go ahead with the trial. And I made mention of another case whereby the issue of the same former governor sued the same EFCC, stopping the same EFCC from investigation. Then what are you trying to point out here? You are trying to tell me that when somebody is trying to shy away from investigation, so everybody will just, or rather people that are not even privy to it. Because I understand that with all due respect, some people that are not within the state, they were misinformed with what is happening in the state. Like now, we charge the former governor on the fact that the Kano Court in general, which is a company owned by the state for decades, it was billions of naira, was sold under his hands to his own company, Lesage Properties Limited. So you are telling me that it's only when the EFCC decides to investigate in this matter, that is when the state will now have its company back? No, it doesn't have that way. That is when we have the devolution of powers. We have the state whereby, we have a provision whereby the state government and the federal government has a concurrent powers to deal with matters. For instance, if the federal government still is willing to prosecute the matter, they can still went ahead with their money laundering charges. Nothing will prevent them from doing that. Then back to the issue of the caller. Yes, the former governor appointed me, but let me make, that's the problem we made as Nigerians. Once you are appointed by somebody, then you term that somebody as a demigod. No, our allegiance is supposed to be with the system. Our allegiance is supposed to be with the Nigerian project. For instance,
all right,
the governor was given mandate by the people of the country. I have to answer this question first. The governor was given mandate by the people of Kano State.
There's another caller who is waiting on the line, Alao in Sango-Ota. Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning. Good morning, Uncle Yori.
Good morning, sir. Please go ahead quickly.
Hello?
Hello, sir. Please go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
We can hear you.
Okay. I want to contribute to the program. So what I only want to say is that the way we reason in this country, I don't really know what I would say. Because he appointed somebody of the government official for just trying to do the right thing. And we are here in this country calling the head of the man to go back to a previous government that have governed for how many years ago. So at least let's just start from somewhere in this country. If, okay, now, for example, our President Tinubu, has every power now to probe our previous president, former President Buhari. If he decides to say not to probe President Buhari, he is okay by him. If any government comes tomorrow now and said, I want to start from where President Tinubu started his government and do the right thing, we will now be calling that person to go back to Buhari. What are we going to in this country? Let's start from somewhere.
Okay. Well, I want to thank you too, Mr. Alao, calling out of Sango-Ota. Well, Mr. Mui Magaji,
yes,
I want to thank you.
Yes.
I want to thank you for coming on the program. We needed to hear from you, seeing as we've heard from the other side.
I will appreciate if you allow me to answer the caller on the perspective that you see somebody appointed, and that is what we're supposed to be. That is what is supposed to be. We subscribe to an oath of office whereby I will do right to all manner of people without peer or payable affection or ill will. I will not allow my personal interest to influence my official decision and actions. So now, when you are appointed by somebody, that somebody is not under immunity of what you're supposed to do. And that is why we have a system whereby things are not working. But as far as I am saying is that whosoever did wrong. And that's what the governor used to preach when he was the governor, before we started investigating the same matter. So as far as I am concerned, as head of the agency, we are doing it against any person, because there was a time when many very prominent individuals were investigated by the commission, and the governor was pleased with it. So now, when we are investigating the matter that affected him, we're supposed to be applauded.
We got you the first time. We got you very clearly the first time. So, as I said, I want to thank you very much for coming on the program. We did feel that professionally we were obliged to also hear from you. Thank you very much for coming on our program.
Thank you very much.
Stay with us, please. There's more to come.
Thank you very much.